The time has come. No, it has. That's the name of the beer that we're reviewing today. This is a Deya, The Time Has Come, and it's using the hop of the moment, Cryo Pop. But what's it all about? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. It's number 2 of the 4-part series of Deya beers. What I'm doing is I'm doing the review of the beers that I had when I was at Deya the other week. Because I didn't do a review when I was actually in the tap room, but I bought the ones that I drank and brought them home to do a review from. So we reviewed already the Better Days. That was incredible. If you haven't checked out that review, if you check out the review with a mini review of the tap room and everything, it's one of the highest rated beers that I've given on the channel, certainly this year. It actually got 88 out of 100. That's a pretty good beer. But this was the second beer that I had of that in that afternoon of drinking at the Deya tap room, and this is Something Good 15. Now we've had a few Something Goods. I certainly haven't had all 15 of them, but I've had a couple, and I can't remember the numbers of them. So Something Good is a rotating IPA series where they explore new ingredients, techniques and processes with the hope of hitting on something good. Now I remember this being pretty good. In fact, I really like that Better Days, but I remember drinking this afterwards and thinking it is almost better. So I'd be interested to see now, the cold light of day, as it were, whether it is. I mean, this is a Cryo Pop IPA. Now, we had a Cryo Pop IPA from North that I thought was really good. It had lots going on, and it also had Idaho 7 and Citra Mosaic in it as well. This got Citra in it. And Cryo Pop seems to be appearing, and lots of the sort of big brewers are using it and trying and experimenting to see where they get with it. Cryo Pop's really about I'll put the caveat, I'm not a brewer. I don't know the techniques. It's major science for me. It's really baffling. But Cryo Pop is basically a blend of the sort of liquidated, a liquid blend of pellets that are made by Yakima Chief. They're the sort of people that put them all together. And basically what it does is it creates this really good aromas. It's all about getting the best aromas that you can get from the hop, without getting some of the negative stuff in terms of the way that they do the brewing process. It's complex science stuff. All I want to know, and I'm sure you the guys are the same, is does it taste any good? Ultimately, it gives a big hit of citrus, tropical, the sort of things that we expect. So it's ideal in IPAs, and especially sort of New England type of IPA. But it's interesting that they see that they're using it with Citra, just as North used it with others. We had a Cryo Pop Pale Ale, and that was from Brew York, and it was not great at all. I'm very disappointed with it, actually. But I remember this being good, so I know this is going to be good. Let's crack it open. Stop waffling. I keep saying that I want to try and get these videos down in terms of in time, so I don't waffle on too much. But let's get this beer into a glass, see what it's all about. So we get a very light straw-coloured beer. There we go. Pour it out there. Looks like a pretty cracking New England IPA. Quite a lot of carbonation, moving pretty quickly. You can see it's a little bit lighter at the bottom, but it's very much that sort of light custardy sort of colour. It's probably not as, it doesn't look as, when I look at it in the camera here, it looks pretty thick, but in the flesh I don't think it looks as thick as some other IPAs, but it's got that sort of straw, slight custard colour, so you're in for a good mouthfeel. I mean, it's a Deya beer, you're always going to be in for a good mouthfeel here. We've got 2 fingers, compacted, just off Whitehead, looks pretty good. And already, I can already get the aromas. And you're getting a big hit of just about everything you can think of with a tropical sort of aroma. I'm getting pineapple and grapefruit and mango and papaya and passion fruit. There's citrus fruits in there like lemons, lime. There's peach, there's apricot. It's got everything in it. It's like the best stuff. It's what you expect modern fruity IPAs to be all about. And this is what it is all about. Big hits. There's nothing that it's just a big tropical aroma, really. It's like an umbungo. You think of those tropical juice drinks you used to have as a kid. This is what this smells like. It's got everything in it. There's nothing, it's not like, it's very mango dominant, or it's got a lot of citrus dominance to it. It's not even dominant in terms of stone fruits, really. It's just a huge blend of all kinds of tropical and citrus fruits. Smells great, really inviting. Again, you know, it's what you want from a beer. You want to smell it and you think, I just want to drink it now. So let's get going. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, I mean, there's something about it. It's got all that big rush of juice, and you think, oh, is it going to be overpowering? Is it going to slightly go a bit dank? But it's very light in terms of its fruitiness. So it's got a real zesty, refreshing sort of fruit flavour to it, which, you know, you don't get a lot of. Some IPAs, you know, you start to get to the point where you're getting that real sort of chewy, over-ripened fruit. But this is all very fresh. I mean, it's a very fresh beer because, as I said, I bought it a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to have a quick look on the bottom of here. Canned on the 5th of August. So that was literally canned. It was literally canned the day that 2 days before I actually bought it. I think I bought it on the 7th. I'm now filming this on the 14th. So it's a week old and it tastes really fresh. So I'll tell you what it's all about. So I think you're getting quite a bigger hit of the more pineapple. Again, it's similar to the Better Days. That pineapple flavour is a little bit more, slightly more dominant than the mango and the papaya and the passion fruit. Then you get little sort of, I reckon, little pockets of grapefruit. It's not like there's a big flavour and then there's a flavour on the back end for me. For me, you're just getting bombarded with waves and waves of different flavours. So you're getting grapefruit in there. Then you're getting lemons and limes come in. And then there's a sort of, yeah, slightly sharp, a very sort of a slight pininess on the back end. But really, this is all about juice, and it's light, it's soft and pillowy. You know, you can't have a review of Deya beer without saying those words, soft and pillowy, because that's what Deya's all about. And this is really up there with some of the best. I mean, in terms of this compared with Better Days, really what I should have done is sort of drank it next to each other. But because for me, this tastes as cracking as that. There's nothing wrong with it. It has got this slightly, I think, a little bit more pininess, really. And I just think it's just because there's so many different flavours. They all sort of bombard your taste buds at the same time. And then you're left with this sort of slightly piney sort of flavour. There's not any bitterness. I wouldn't even say it's not as dry as some beers, really. It's just got that, it just leaves that little bit of pininess. And then you have another wave of drink and then you go through that sensation of all those fruit flavours again. Cracking beer. Great beer from Deya, again, you know, and it's up there with some of their best, really. Really, really good. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Deya. The time has come, part of their Something Good range. This is Something Good number 15. Again, you know, look at the artwork here. There's it's basically a competition, the knockout Domingo champion versus the Simone challenger. I'm not sure what all that's about. There's a little bit of a boxing thing going on there with the old croc there. And when I was at Deya, we asked them, so where's this croc come from? You know, what's the crocodile all about? Why is there? What's the link with Deya and Cheltenham and all that sort of thing? And unfortunately, the girl should have come up with some sort of, I mean, she should have lied to us and come up with some real great story. But what she said was, well, the artist just liked drawing crocodiles, so it stuck, and that was pretty much it. I wanted to hear stories of like, oh, well, back in the, you know, the 1500s, there was crocodiles roaming the swamps of Cheltenham or something like that. But unfortunately, she didn't give us that. But, you know, I want to keep that fantasy. And I don't even know where that's come from. But yeah, we're talking about the artwork. That's it. Yeah, and the crocodile. It's a very distinctive sort of little character motif, what you call brand even, you know, a crocodile. It's all over the sort of tap room and stuff. And it's on all their can artwork. But there's no sort of history of crocodiles in Cheltenham, unfortunately. But let's go through these scores. So first things first, aroma. Well, with Cryo Pop, it's all about getting those aromas, and you're getting huge waves of. I still think that when I smell it, the first thing I smell is pineapple, but then you're getting so much other tropical sort of aromas bombarding you. You get your mangoes, your papayas, then you're getting all your stone fruits in there, your peach and your apricots, that real sort of sweetness coming from those stone fruits. And then there's citrus in there. You've got your lemons, you've got limes, you've got grapefruit. It's all, everything's there, and there's no sort of, it bang, 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 bang in terms of the aroma. And that's quite similar in the flavour, but it's a really good aroma, and I'm giving it a 16 out of 20. Appearance, well, again, lovely looking beer, lovely yellowy, very typical. When I was at Deya the other week, everyone was drinking beers and they all looked this sort of colour, and it seemed weird that there was a sort of like loads of pint glasses everywhere with this sort of colour beer, because it's very distinctive for them, very New England-esque. It's a lovely looking beer, and you can see look at the coating of the glass, in terms of the way that the head sort of sticks to the glass. It's a very sort of creamy sort of beer, and you can see that in the appearance. So I think it's pretty good. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Flavour wise, the flavour is similar to the aromas. You get first you get that hit of pineapple, and then you're getting all the other sort of tropical sort of flavours all hitting you straight away after that, wrapped in this sort of citrusy grapefruit, lemons, limes, all of those sort of flavours in there. Stone fruits give a little bit of extra sweetness, and then just when it's just sort of sitting there on the palate there, the flavour sort of as it washes down your throat, you get a little bit of pockets of pininess, a slight pininess, but there's no bitterness, and it's a really soft, as you would expect from Deya, soft, creamy sort of mouthfeel. I think it's a cracking flavour. Is it as good as the Better Days? There's something about that little bit of pininess that just sort of, I take a point off, but maybe that's just me. So I'm giving it 35 for flavour. Value for money. 500ml can, bought it direct from Deya, cost £4. You can't buy beer as good as this anywhere else for that sort of money. I think it's just like all of those Deya beers. It's a very good quality beer. You know it's good quality beer, and you paid £4 from it. When I was at the Craft Beer Festival in Liverpool this week, I was paying £3 for a half. I know it's a different situation, but it was a £3 for a half a beer. And there's some good beers there, but it's a lot of money. I mean, some of them for some beers where I would say that getting close to this quality, I'm paying I had to pay 4 tokens, £4 for the Beak Locals. I mean, it's a really good beer, a really good IPA, but £4 for half a beer. That's probably just a little bit more than half of one of those sort of thing. That's really expensive. So this at £4, I think it's cracking value. So it's got to be a 10 out of 10 for me. And then my overall experience, let's say, it's got everything going. It's similar to the other Deya, the Better Days, but it has just this little bit of, I don't know what it is, a little bit of a twang, a little bit of pininess, something there that just doesn't make it as smooth and as drinkable. So I'm not gonna, but I think that maybe that's just me getting confused in terms of drinking this. If I drank them together, then maybe I'd have a better accurate side by side. But I still think it's good, and it's definitely what I like from an IPA. So I'm giving it 16 for overall experience. So we top those scores up, and we're getting a cracking 86. It's another highly recommended beer. I mean, if you're watching this video and because you've got any interest in Deya, this is up there with all the rest, with all of their good beers. It's 6.2%. It's at the right sort of level. It's not like a strong. I mean, I think I've probably had one or so of their double IPAs. But in terms of the sweet spot for me for beer, which is around about between 6 and 6.5%, I think is the sweet spot for me. And this is right on it at 6.2%. Cracking beer, 86, highly recommended. You know that you're going to get good quality with Deya. I don't think I've had a bad Deya beer before, but this one, like the Better Days, is up there with probably some of their best beers. We've got 2 more to come. They've got to reach those standards. Sunshine was one. Now that one I do remember having a bit more of a, because it had Sabro in it, so it's got that bit more coconutty sort of pineapple in it. I remember that being good on the day. And then the other one, which is Into the Haze, which is a beer that's been around a while, but it's one of my friend's favourite Deya beers. I need to remember it because I think that at the end of the night, and I'm not sure how that fitted in. We also had Steady Rolling Man, but I've reviewed that on the channel like probably nearly a year ago now. So, and that's still a cracking beer, but it's a lot lighter. It's a pale ale, but these IPAs, I think, are what Deya does really well. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and until the next one, keep on rocking.